beautiful sunny day here in early March on Spring Road for the 24th annual Elmhurst St. Patrick's Day Parade. I'm Ken Bartels from the Community Bank of Elmhurst. That's John Quigley from the Elmhurst Chamber of Commerce and Industry, and we're here to bring you the St. Patrick's Day Parade. And John, everyone's Irish on St. Patrick's Day, and for the parade in Elmhurst, we do this a couple of times a year.
Oh, you can't beat this parade. And today, look at this. Sun, beautiful. We're going to have a great crowd, great parade. I want to thank the Elmhurst St. Patrick's Day Parade Committee for putting this all together. 24 years, Ken. That's amazing. Second largest parade in all of Illinois when it comes to St. Patrick's Day. And it's a little better than the St. Patrick's Day Parade in Chicago. Why? Because it's here in Elmhurst.
All the better. So we're here on Elmhurst now, and we'll be right back. We're back on Elmhurst Now, St. Patrick's Day Parade, the 24th annual here in Elmhurst, Illinois on Spring Road. And the first unit, as is always the case, is the Elmhurst American Legion THB Post 187 Color Guard.
Led by Bill Shanklin, Sergeant at Arms. And then following them, Ken, is the Post 187 Mud Dog Baseball Team. They will be hosting the Great Lakes Regional August 5 through 9 here in Elmhurst.
And Elmhurst Police Chief Mike Ruth going through here to begin the parade. Start out with the police and the police department. And then right on the heels of the Fire Department, Elmhurst Fire Priest Tom Freeman. First time out in 2020 for the vintage Fire Department vehicle, just sliding by in yours right now. I see this at every parade, but when you're sitting right here on the street and these vehicles go by, you finally realize how big they are. That's a big Dalmatian, too.
Yeah, you get a great comparison between what a truck looked like 80 years ago and what they look like now.
Oh, my heavens, yes. Well, we've said it already, but this is a spectacular day. Spectacular day here in Elmhurst.
I don't know if people are going to move faster because it's nice or they're going to move slower because it's nice.
Well, that was a flurry right there, I'll say.
And we have our parade grand marshal. It's the Larry Roesch Family Auto Group. Dan Roesch in the Jeep there with his wife. And fittingly, there's some pretty cool cars coming after.
Absolutely. Yeah, we got some vintage cars coming through, courtesy once again of Roesch.
We got the lime green Roadrunner. And that was Paul Cook driving the orange car, exactly. Also with Larry Roesch.
Larry Roesch Auto Group and Larry Roesch Ford and Larry Roesch Volkswagen. So we've got the
Happy St. Patrick's Day, Elmhurst.
You were about ready, John, to talk about the parade sponsors.
Sure.
Okay.
As always, you know, City of Elmhurst, Community Bank of Elmhurst, International Contractors, O'Connor Garage Door and Roesch Auto Group are our Emerald sponsors. Wouldn't be possible without the assistance of them to run this parade. Believe it or not, folks, it takes close to $40,000 to put this parade on. Platinum sponsors include Berkshire Hathaway Home Services, Chicago, Edward Elmhurst Health, Spring Road Business Association. Those are the platinum sponsors. And Ken, we got the early start of the city of Elmhurst, but as I expected, our elected officials are kind of meeting the crowd.
Well, that's part of the reason they're on the parade, but we're going through with a couple of cyclists here, and we expect that the city officials will be coming into your camera screen here shortly, but as you said, John, they're meeting and greeting the population, not only of the city of Elmhurst, but 15,000 or so folks along the way?
Oh, easily that. Our gold sponsors today, Casco, Doc's Victory Pub, Fitz's Bulldog, Fitz's Pub, Fitz's Spare Keys, HB Jones, Punky's Pub, Riley's Gathering Place, Schamberger Brothers, Spring Inn, Superior Ambulance, Silverado Grill, and Workvana. You might have caught that there were a few establishments in the gold sponsor group that might be doing some beverages today.
You think?
Yeah.
On St. Patrick's Day. Really?
Yeah, people occasionally want something to drink on a warm, sunny, hot Saturday like this. So they'll get out. They're out early. They'll be out for the parade, and then they'll move on to some of the other places.
Well, as we know, down the parade from where we are in the residential section on Spring Road, there are party after party after party.
Oh, yeah.
That began early this morning, in some cases continue on through the day. You get a spectacular day like this in early March. And by the way, this is the earliest that the St. Patrick's Day parade can be.
I know.
7th of March. You can't get any sooner.
Can't get any earlier than that.
March.
Unless we're going to do February.
Well, I guess that's possible, but then we'd probably have to celebrate it twice in March too. So, but it's a great parade, and the tradition of 24 years notwithstanding, we've had some significant folks visit us over the years. There'll be some today as well, and next year, 25th.
25.
And all the stops will come out for that, I suspect.
Our silver sponsors today, Algram Funeral Home, Chicago Records Management, Citizens for Deanne Mazaki, Culvers of Elmhurst, DuPage County Board Chair Dan Cronin, Elm Sales, Elmhurst City Soccer Association, Elmhurst Tailgate for Dogs, Fitness Formula Clubs here in Elmhurst, Green Tea Services, Immaculate Conception Grade School, John Nolden, Guaranteed Rate, L.W. Reedy Real Estate, Roberto's Ristorante and Pizzeria, Steve and Nancy Morley, our mayor, Team Elmhurst Soccer Club, the Concrete Doctors Group, the UPS Store City Center, and at Schiller and at Properties. And Ken, I think it's a perfect time, now that we got some cute people up on the screen for you to see, we're going to take a quick break, and we'll be back with Elmhurst Now.
St. Patrick's Day Parade on Elmhurst Now, Spring Road. We're about to greet our city officials, led by Mayor Stephen Morley. We'll see the Elmhurst trolley coming into view shortly. There it is.
Elmhurst trolley program in the summer, very popular. Fridays and Saturdays, starting in June and running into September. And then there's the Holly Trolley. It starts after Thanksgiving and runs through Christmas. Record numbers each of the last several years for the Explore Elmhurst trolley.
Well, I remember when the trolley was introduced, John, it was like, well, who's going to ride that? And now we've got thousands of people every weekend riding.
It's become very popular, and it's all age groups. So yeah, there's a younger age demographic that rides the trolley in the afternoon and early evening, and then the adults who like to go out. And that trolley runs between Spring Road here City Center and York Villette Business District, and it rotates in about a 15-minute ride. So you know when the trolley's coming. You can track it on your phone. There's a tracker for it.
Well, here's Mayor Morley in the shot right there, coming up the street with the rest of the city council and aldermen. They're sort of flanking the trolley, or the trolley's escorting them. I'm not sure which it is, but
incoming candy from the aldermen.
Yeah.
Oh, Smarties.
It's raining candy right now.
And Chewies. Sweet tarts. Chewy sweet tarts.
Yeah.
Oh, man, they're coming all over the place.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Very nice. Very nice.
I didn't even have to ask for it. Look at what I got. This is the best part of this job. You get candies, and then you get inflatable toys and basketballs and all that kind of stuff.
So that was the mayor and the city council that just came by.
Yeah.
Raining candy on the announcers, which was fine and good. The Elmhurst Heritage Foundation following up with them, Dave Oberg, and the Elmhurst History Museum. You mentioned the trolley and its schedule a few minutes ago. The trolley runs through the Craft Beer Fest, which will be in September. I believe it's September 19th this year. So that's a great event as well. That'll be at the end of the summer season, which spring has sprung, but summer will be here sooner or later. So Elmhurst Heritage Foundation and the Elmhurst History Museum. Actually, Dave Oberg is going to jump in here from the Elmhurst History Museum. Dave, put those headsets on.
Hey, how are we doing today?
Great day. Great
Oh,
day.
beautiful. You couldn't ask for better than this.
Yeah, it's and you've walked the whole parade already. We're at the end, so the crowds have been good, and everything's good coming down the street.
Oh, it's fantastic.
Olympia Chiropractic shooting by.
Can't beat that. We promoting our railroad exhibit, of course, which closes on the 29th of March, and our big railway days, which is spring break week, the 23rd through the 27th. Having a ton of fun, a lot of kids, a lot of fun.
Terrific. Well, we appreciate you stopping by, and we've mentioned the Craft Beer Fest already. We'll probably mention it again later, but
Outstanding.
that comes
Mark
at the
your
end of the
calendars.
season.
September 19th.
I just want to know who was the best dunk tank person you had last summer.
John, how do we compare with you? You were the best by far.
I liked it particularly when he was underwater.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Thanks, guys.
You bet. Thanks,
Take care, Dave.
All right, have fun.
Superior Ambulance going by with our first musical float. We're going to have 8 music groups today, John. We've got 6 dance groups and 11 various types of Shriners. So.
Oh, you got to have Shriners. You can't have a parade without
flying
Shriners.
Carpets and motorcycles and everything those guys bring to the parade. So.
Ken, for some reason, this is my favorite entry. It's Congressman Mike Quigley. What a great name, Quigley.
Yeah. You should run for office.
The only better first name than Mike is John. So,
Well,
John
they're both
Quigley.
4-letter words, so. Yeah.
I'll mention that when he's on air with us.
We've got Congressman Mike Quigley's group coming through here right now, and it's a strong contingent of folks coming through. It is an election year, somebody told me, so we've got a few politicians joining us, so we always do, but somehow we have a few more.
County board candidate just came by, but the county board chair is coming by. Dan Cronin.
There's Dan right there in your screenshot.
Elmhurst born.
Thank you very much. I'm going to go say hi to
DuPage County Board. And there's Dan Cronin, chairman of the DuPage County Board, joining us right now. Welcome, Dan.
Just wanted to stop by and say hello. It's such a beautiful day. The sun is shining. Everybody's smiling. John,
All
it's
of
nice
that's
to see
true.
you.
Do you know anything about Elmhurst, Dan?
Oh, yeah. I remember riding my Schwinn bicycle up here as a kid, and it was Hank's Corner right
With the
there.
banana seat?
The banana, yeah. No, I didn't. I wasn't that cool. I wasn't that
Yeah,
cool.
last weekend I saw in one of the inserts in the Tribune you were interviewed about
Yeah.
Elmhurst. That was a great little story.
Yeah, it's fun. It's a great town. Great town, centrally located. You get down into the city of Chicago. You're near every major arterial. Get to the airport, but it's a warm, close community, and I just love it. And you have contributed mightily to it. You and John and all of our friends in leadership in the chamber and
Elmhurst, the
Comcast
gateway to
and-
DuPage County,
There you go.
without doubt.
Anyway.
State Rep Deanne Mazzocchi just passed by.
She's the best. Here,
Yep.
I'm going to give you a fist bump.
Thank you.
And then I'm going to be on my way. Thank you so much.
Always a
bet.
pleasure, Dan.
Take care.
Thank you.
That was Dan Cronin, chairman of the DuPage County Board. Always delighted to have a few minutes with Dan rather.
As I mentioned, our state rep came by,
Yep.
Deanne Mazzocchi.
Schiller Real Estate rolling by right now. At Properties, the Schiller team with At Properties.
That's a cool little car.
Really is.
Oh, Deanne's come by to say hi to us.
Oh, terrific.
I am always happy to say hello to one John Quigley and Mr. Ken Bartels. So there you go.
Dan was taking your time when you were passing by the camera, but I'm glad you could double back and join us.
Always happy to. You know, this is a great day here in Elmhurst, and what a fantastic day for today. So this is great. This is the best that all of Elmhurst has to offer, so very exciting.
They don't have this kind of thing down in Springfield, do they?
No, although maybe if we did, we could actually get a little bit more accomplished. So that would be fantastic.
Bring everybody to get together for a parade one afternoon.
Absolutely. And a parade that's, dedicated to actually sharing some joy and fun and faith and family. So
Exactly right.
Great event. Thank you for joining us.
my pleasure anytime.
And I will see you down in Springfield on March 18th and then again on April 1 and 2.
Exactly. You hold me accountable.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Appreciate it.
You too.
Thanks for stopping.
Our county board representative, Mr. Noonan, just passed by. He too had a little trolley car going.
Band of Brothers, Pipes and Drums, our first full musical outfit of the St. Patrick's Day Parade in 2020.
And if you're healthy driven, you can be driving that thing. Edward Elmhurst Health. Doing nice handouts for the kids too, little pinwheels.
I think, and our if you don't count the Dalmatian on the fire truck earlier, we have our first dog.
Yep.
First dog sighting of the St. Patrick's Day Parade.
Always a popular outing for the pets.
I was talking to some media people before the parade began, John, and this gentleman had never covered the parade before, and I was telling him a little bit about its history, and it's a great history. It's a great story about how it starts. But this gentleman was commenting about how he went to City Center in Elmhurst looking for the parade because he was told it was in downtown, and he thought Spring Road was the downtown. And I said, well, in many ways, Spring Road could be a downtown.
By the way, the dog you pointed out is actually named Tiffany, and Tiffany has his own card. 85 pounds. Date of birth, 12/16 of 2017. It's a European cream golden retriever. How about that?
And it must be healthy or it wouldn't have been.
I know.
Judge Jim McCluskey going by, circuit court candidate.
The one thing I always like about seeing all the candidates that come into a parade before an election, by the way, folks,
Judge Police as well.
get out and vote. It's the greatest tool you have as a citizen of the United States is the power of the vote. So get out there and do it. But I love to see what colors they decide. Typically red, white, and blue is popular.
Oh, we got, right there on that car, we've got gold and white and red and black. So anything works, I guess.
It does. As anybody who's been to this parade before knows, when there's an election coming up, all the elected officials come out, even more so, and then there's a number of candidates who also join the parade for a chance to get some additional exposure.
Berkshire Hathaway in your screen just a moment ago. Once again, the crowd spectacular as they should be. People are going to come out today because This is a great day. We've had a very mild winter and hopefully a great spring. But today is a wonderful day for a parade anywhere, but certainly in Elmhurst.
And all around us, Ken, now up and down the route, but all around us, the kids have their candy bags and they're all ready to go. We get a great view. They're to the right of us. They're across the street from us. I always tell new parade entries, they think they have enough to hand out. And I go, you don't have nearly enough.
That's a great shot right there.
Yep.
I mean, the crowd's literally sort of almost spilling right up to the parade. The parade's about 8 blocks long in length when you go from start to finish. Starts obviously on way down south on Spring Road and goes right on through, ends at the Silverado Grill. Here's New York Times Shop, John Valley.
God bless you guys. Thank you. I got to see the boss. I got something for you guys.
Oh, and John's coming by to give us some stuff. What do you have for it? Oh, packs of candy.
Oh, my.
Oh, you win.
Wow.
And Tony Cazone says hi. How you doing, Tony?
Gentlemen.
John, it's a pleasure.
Yeah,
Thanks for coming out and joining us today. Thank you.
Same to both of you.
I appreciate it. Wow, that's just one piece. That's a whole bag of candy.
Yeah,
I got enough to last the parade now.
Instant diabetic there, John.
Oh, and he's got the chewy ones and Smarties. Thank you.
Well, here's a group rather dear to my heart. It's the Community Bank of Elmhurst banner. Several of my co-workers at the bank carrying and the bank sponsors and leads the York High School Marching Band, the Marching Dukes. Not playing right now, but let's watch them go by. This is the youth and future of our community right here.
So many kids are involved in extracurricular activities. So while we're proud of both the public and private schools in our community, it's amazing how many kids are in sports, arts, culture. And one of the newest businesses in town coming up, already in the parade, Workvana.
Co-work space, work remotely. Welcome to Workvana. Recently joined our community. Fisher Elementary School and their dual language programs. A strong contingent from Fisher Elementary School. That's great to see. That's new to the parade, I'm quite sure.
Always easier to learn another language the younger you are. And learning another language also helps you better understand your language. Soy bilingue.
Well, I know you've been doing this parade since since its beginning, John, and I've been doing it since 2001 and 2011 rather. And it's always great to see the kids, both in the parade and watching the parade. And there's more green hats and different color greens in this crowd. That you just don't know how many shades of green there are. The Elmhurst Independent going by. Pete Kruger, publisher, P. Longfellow, the crew.
And they're taking pictures of them taking pictures of them taking pictures of them taking pictures.
I get the picture.
We would like to give our condolences to the Independent. One of their longtime writers, Dan McLeister, recently passed, and his wake is actually later today. And so that the crew is marching, and then they will head off to Dan's wake.
This would be the Shannon Rovers Irish Pipe Band. It's a great shot there. FFC Fitness Formula, downtown on Addison.
And they got a Great Dane walking with them.
Yeah, 1,000-some folks a day in and out of Fitness Formula Club downtown, John.
What a great addition to the downtown. Ken, I have never asked you this, but since that last band went by, well, we'll let it go for a second. Elmhurst College Blue Jays, winner of an NCAA tournament game last night.
There's
before the
Victor E.
parade.
Blue Jay right there.
And they will play in the second round later on after our parade. But I did want to ask you, Ken, if you had to do bagpipes or drums, what would you do?
Well, I'd have to do drums. I'd have to do drums.
I don't think I could do bagpipes.
There's President Troy Van Aken there on the far left in your shot, greeting the crowd. More Blue Jays coming through.
Troy's handing out candy.
1871, that means the college's 150th anniversary will take place in the same year as the 25th St. Patrick's Day Parade. All sorts of things to celebrate in
There's
2021.
sesquicentennial. You got to learn how to say that.
Oh, yeah.
All kinds of students marching, representing a variety of the activities on campus.
Fraternities and sororities both represented.
My proud alma mater.
A1 limousine and party bus. College has his own party bus now, John. Things have changed.
I know. We've talked about this. The plethora of trolleys that have now become parade regulars.
Yes. And there's always been trucks. And here's tailgate. Your dog's home away from home, it says. And here are the dogs. They're obviously not home. They look like they're enjoying the parade, trying to figure out whether this candy on the ground is
candy.
Is
here we go, incoming
for them.
Lollipops.
Yeah, more raining lollipops now. Got enough candy. I'm going to save it for Halloween. Immaculate Conception Grade School, the Knights.
KNIGHTS, Knights are the best.
Graduate of them too, John.
Yes.
Yes, you are. Yes.
Grade school, high school. You know, I had a great educational upbringing, Ken. I went to Hawthorne for kindergarten, went across the street to IC Grammar School, went next door to IC High School, then decided I should get away and walked across Wilder Park to Elmhurst College.
Well, my wife is a proud staff member of Immaculate Conception Grade School, so. Somewhere in the middle of the parade, they decided to stick another fire truck. We're making a little noise with this one.
I'm guessing it's for an establishment that might be doing St. Patrick's Day beverages.
No. We're back to this beverage thing again.
Yeah.
Flava. Spring in. Spring in, Flava at the Spring Inn. Musical groups. As I said, when in doubt, stick a fire truck in the middle of the parade. And I think here comes our first group of Shriners, John, and they're on the traditional vehicles.
This is how everybody knows the Shriners
Yeah, this
initially.
is how it started. Yep, this is definitely how it started.
I'm amazed how they can handle, those are big bikes. I'm amazed how they can handle them in this tight of quarters.
One thing, you see one of these guys following you on the freeway, you at least don't have to worry about it. As I said, there's 11, I believe, 11 different types of Shriner vehicles. And of course, the Shriners raising money for their hospital and the great work that they do.
This
we
is an
always
example.
welcome them every year to the parade.
This is an example of some of the groups you pay to come to your parade.
Right,
The Shriners, all those entries donate the money they get
right.
to the Shriners Hospital. And one of the reasons we do our parade before the Chicago parade is so that we don't have to compete, and the Shriners can go in the Chicago parade after they do ours. But they do ours first because we're more important than Chicago. And with that, Ken, why don't we go ahead and take a break, and we'll be right back on Elmhurst Now.
We're here on Elmhurst Now, St. Patrick's Day Parade on Spring Road in Elmhurst, the 24th annual. And we're looking at our next trolley. I think this is like the third one. But these are great for parades because not only can you advertise on them, but you can put patrons inside and they get to see the parade from a completely different perspective.
Yeah, that's the best way to march in a parade is not march. You sit and you wave outside a window.
This one happens to be John Nolden, guaranteed rate.
Right in downtown Elmhurst. Also of Billboard fame. Billboard on North Avenue leading into Elmhurst from Villa Park. You can see John's picture up there.
Just got handed a note from one of the parade organizers that, in his opinion at least, this is the largest attendance end to end in the history of the parade.
Well, thank you, President Trump.
This time I think we have the photos to
To
bear
prove
it
it,
out.
yeah. Ken, you had mentioned about parade announcers. Actually, when this parade first started, it was one camera, a sound person, and Frank Catalano Sr. doing the program back in 1977. Pat Sheffer and George Waterstadt did it from 1998 to 2000. Colleen Callahan joined George Waterstadt and did it from 2001 to 2004. And then in 2005, I joined Colleen. And in 2011, you joined me.
That's
so
right.
I've been doing it since 2015. Another new business active in Elmhurst, SBC Waste Solutions. That is a big truck.
That's a big truck. There's a couple of big trucks right here. Yeah, Lemonhead's coming from this group.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, I think back when I started in 2005, Ken, if you had, 500 pieces of candy, you were good. Now you need a minimum of 2,500 pieces of candy.
That's not that 500 pieces, that gets you the first block. So.
That is a shot down the street. You saw people 15 feet deep.
Well, and the alternating flags on the flagpoles, the Irish flag and the American flag together, just decks out Spring Road for days before the parade and days afterwards. So it's just a great picture.
I think we have the Elmhurst Eagles football and cheer coming up.
Well, the Eagles and the various youth hockey programs to go along with all of the park districts and other groups in Elmhurst baseball. Just the community is loaded with opportunities for youth, and they take full advantage of them. Look at this shot, John. Just look at this.
That's a man.
You don't know where the parade is and where the people are.
Holy cow. I actually got here today and I told the film crew, I said, I think we're going to have way more people marching this year. And the Eagles are dropping off some more lollipops for us. Thank you. I just sensed that a little bit better weather was going to draw more people out there. What? I don't get the football? And then we have Immaculate Conception. IC Catholic Prep.
Yeah, all three high schools in Elmhurst, York and Timothy Christian, IC Catholic Prep, all do such a great job, and such a wonderful combination of both public and private education at very, very high levels. I can't get over that last shot. I mean, it was impossible to know where the parade was and where the crowd was.
And there's another shot that look how far down you can see way past Villette Street. It's just a sea of people.
I don't know, John. I think if we can get one of those shots for you, I think that's your cover of one of your directories.
Community directory? That's a possibility.
That's just.
And the Elmhurst Bears. Again, as you talk, youth football, youth soccer, youth softball, you know.
I wonder if they have a quarterback controversy. Chris Kacherubis, clerk of the Circuit Court of DuPage County.
Saw Chris and a number of the elected officials at Elmhurst College's President's Breakfast this morning. Elmhurst College will be changing to Elmhurst University.
Yep.
After the school year ends.
You'll have to get a whole new supply of sweatshirts and stuff.
I know. I jokingly asked if I was going to get a new diploma. One that says
I do
Elmhurst
understand that the graduates this year, coming up in May, will get 2 diplomas. One from Elmhurst College and one from Elmhurst University.
There you go.
I think every 150 years, maybe you should change your name.
And here for 100 years, the Elmhurst Park District.
Yeah, this year celebrating. I'll be sitting down with Jim Rogers, just walking by here in a few weeks for an Elmhurst Our Community program. and be great to chat with him about 100 years of Park District in Elmhurst.
They followed suit. The Legion was 100 years. The Chamber was 100 years. The Memorial Day Parade was 100 years.
The Legion was 100 years.
Yep.
Yeah.
And of course, Courts Plus, part of the Elmhurst Park District. They're marching as well. Their Impact Dance Company. There's no shortage of things to do through the Elmhurst Park District. I almost feel like they should have a little music while they're dancing.
Well, actually, I think they have.
Now they do.
Music.
There you go. See, I ask and they deliver. And these are the younger dancers.
Elmhurst YMCA, another organization providing all sorts of opportunities for youth and adults in our community and have been for decades.
I grew up playing Husky hockey.
60 years for the Elmhurst YMCA, the sign says. So
60. They're a newcomer.
I was going to say.
Newcomer,
yeah.
60 years.
I hope they last. And I absolutely know they will. So. Well, it's one of the things about this community is the incredible breadth of the cultural and educational and civic opportunities that exist within Elmhurst. And as a community that has significant history of its own, it's just great to see it constantly continuing to transform itself over time.
And Irish dancing is a tradition. O'Neill, Mulhern, Garrity. I always say, the dancing's hard enough. To do it on the moving platform.
That bouncing up and down in addition. So you've got a thrill ride going there.
And we got the little ones coming up.
Yeah. The Irish sweaters and the green. Yeah, that's an intense thing to decide to do.
And out of all the Irish dance organizations that serve our community, they're national champs, world champs.
Yep. Having a good time carrying the sign.
Evolution Dance Experience, another opportunity for different kind of dancing.
Well, as I said in the opening, everybody's Irish on St. Patrick's Day.
And you don't have to just Irish dance.
No. I think we've got a little bit of a gap here in the parade, so we'll take a quick break. We're on Elmhurst Now, the St. Patrick's Day Parade.
And we're back at the 24th annual Elmhurst St. Patrick's Day Parade down Spring Road. Beautiful day. It's been amazing already, and we're probably only halfway through the parade, Ken.
Yeah, I would guess we're about halfway, maybe not quite, but nonetheless, here's
Goldfish Swim School.
Yeah, exactly. I was looking at that, and I'm saying, what exactly is that? And sure enough, it's a goldfish.
Great facility up off North York.
Right. Elmhurst City Soccer Association.
Hello!
Soccer groups. Big enthusiasm for the cameras as the kids go by. As soon as they realize they're on TV, it's amazing how animated they become.
And Ken, I've got a surprise for you.
No.
I think we got a trolley coming.
Yeah, these are all different trolleys too, John. That's the other. They're not just recycled.
No.
They're coming through.
Yeah, they're not just doing a loop.
Different trolley every time. This one with a huge Irish flag on the front and sliding on back. Happy St. Patrick's Day, the sign says on the side. And Elmhurst Soccer Association.
And the big soccer ball.
Big soccer ball covered by the big Culver's ice cream cone. Culver's, another recent addition to the fabric of Elmhurst city businesses.
Off York Street, north of North Avenue. Replace the old Burger King there.
Yeah, I didn't. It didn't rain Butterburgers. I don't know what's up with that, but
I would have expected at least a 2-scoop ice cream.
well, if they watch the broadcast, John, maybe next year. You never know. Things have been known to happen.
And parades can't be parades unless you have clowns. Got a clown with a big cell phone. Got a clown playing basketball, throwing basketballs to the kids, shooting in the hoop.
The Medina Shrine Clowns, they operate out of Addison, and we certainly enjoy having them here in Elmhurst on this St. Patrick's Day Parade Day.
I wonder if you have to work your way from clowns to motorcycles, or is it motorcycles to clowns?
That's a good question. I don't know that there's any correlation whatsoever, actually, but it's still a good question.
Well, let's take a minute to think about it. We're going to take a break and be back on Elmhurst Now.
Here we have the Elmhurst Armpit Orchestra. This is a group that kind of breaks all bounds. They just sort of, Scott Lamort there in front leading the Elmhurst Armpit Orchestra. They do their little routine. They all play kazoos and other unusual instruments, and of course wear their St. Patrick's Day finest.
And let me tell you, that's about all they're qualified to play. It's a great group, and I've got an inside. I happen to know that the Elmhurst Armpit Orchestra was featured in the most recent Larry Roesch Family Auto Group commercial.
They were indeed. And there is the largest drum in the world with Bill Murray, their inspiration on it. There's Rich Reichert playing the drum as we go by. They're recognizing the Elmhurst History Museum and all they bring to the community this year on the big drum. Elmhurst Armpit Orchestra has a lot of fun doing this once a year and having a great time here at the St. Patrick's Day Parade. My son was even stuck in that group somewhere. The UPS store going by, and Richard Veenstra, candidate for circuit judge. And the EAOs, they put them in the middle of the parade this time as opposed to later on. I think we're being joined right now by the Mayor of Elmhurst, Steve Morley. And Steve, welcome. We're
Good,
doing
how
terrific. We're doing terrific.
Beautiful day.
Oh my, I guess so. O'Connor Garage Door Solutions. Jim O'Connor is the head of the St. Patrick's Day Parade.
How did he get an
Forest
entry?
Dance Academy. There's Steve on camera.
Camera adds 30 pounds, and there's 3 cameras on me.
But when they turn the camera off, Steve, it all goes away.
Okay, yeah, that's true.
So this kind of stuff is the best mayor stuff to do, right?
This is good stuff. A lot of people insist on buying the mayor a drink on St. Patrick's Day. I turned down most of them.
Yeah, okay. Well, that's good.
Yeah, he said most, not all.
Most,
well,
yeah.
Nothing gets by you, John.
Everything in moderation.
Well,
We've been seeing some camera shots, and you may see one in the monitor here, Steve, but there's times when you can't differentiate the parade group and the spectator group on the street. It's just been astounding.
We get I know, like, the police would prefer, like, 10 degrees and bright and sunny. But we're pushing 50 degrees, and everybody comes out.
Oh,
and
yep.
it's just wonderful. It really is. I mean,
see, there's a screenshot.
There it is. There is a
right
good
there.
screenshot. We we kind of kick off the St. Patrick's Day season here in actually in Illinois, in the Chicagoland area. We jump in first, and I know that the business owners appreciate that we have 2 St. Patrick's Days.
More.
Or more.
We did note how a number of the sponsors sell beverages for this event. So.
Yes, they do, and I think they do very well.
I think the parade's also become a sort of a collection for trolleys too. I mean,
I did notice that. What's going on there?
5 or 6
There was,
already.
There was one of us. There was one, and we had to figure out that we had to stand in front of it. Otherwise, it was going to leave us behind.
Yep.
Once we figured that out, we were able to get rid of all of our candy. I think it was pushing about 500 pounds of candy, which no matter how much you give out, there's always that kid at the very end of the parade who's missing a piece.
Oh, yeah.
You feel a little bad.
Yeah,
but,
we've
As you see by our table, we have.
you guys are doing okay.
We have no shortage.
Where'd you get this? Who gave that to
John
you?
Vale gave it to us. Yeah.
Yeah,
All right,
it sort
John
of
Valley,
rains
that's
down
good.
on us periodically.
All right.
So, but
How many entries do we have this year, gentlemen?
I don't know the exact number. I just know it's 3 full pages.
Okay.
We're usually around 120.
Well, it's election season.
Yeah,
John.
but
we're a little more than that.
I
I'm
also
sure.
anticipated that some of the entries would have way more people marching with them.
Okay.
And that's been the case.
Okay.
So it's
so it hasn't disappointed.
no,
in that
it's been a
sense.
sea of humanity some of these times. And we got another Medina entry coming by, the old cars, the Charger, and some of the even older ones. Steve, I did want to hit on one thing. The city and the school district, you mentioned it this morning, while you have done great things to mitigate stormwater and flooding, a new deal with the District 205 will allow even more projects to get done.
Yes, very happy about that. So I would say about a month and a half ago, the city of Elmhurst and District 205 came to an agreement. When you have a landlocked town like Elmhurst that is pretty much developed, you have to utilize the green space that you have. And a lot of that green space is either in the Park District area or the school district. And I think what we all agree is that it's not the school's property, the city's property, or the Park District's property. It's the residents' property. And we have a problem. We've been doing what we can to address it. And we recently came to agreement with the school district. And it's a combination project at York High School. We're going to store somewhere between 8 and 9 acre feet, and we're going to get a new playable field. So we're actually building the vault that holds all the water underneath, and then they're going to get a turf field over. So that's very exciting for us. We're very happy. That's something that we've actually been working on. I've been mayor now for about 7 years, and we've been working on that for about 7 years. So we have an agreement with the school system, with the District 205. President Cafario and the whole group, we're very appreciative that we were able to come to an agreement. And then we also have an agreement at the south of the town at Jackson. So I appreciate you bringing it up, John. What I like to say is that reluctantly I became the stormwater mayor. And we used to be the town that had the reputation for flooding, and now we're the town that has the reputation where we've solved flooding. And while you'll never solve, you can never beat Mother Nature. We've done a whole lot, 11 projects, and we've got 2 more projects on the books. And I can tell you this, in DuPage County, we are now getting a lot of other towns who ask us, how did you do it, what process? And it's slow. It's a slow process, but if you stick to it, it pans out, and I'm very happy that we've reached an agreement.
It's to your and the city councils and the other organizations involved great credit. It didn't stick our head in the sand about the situation. We went out and we did something about it in a big way.
Yeah, as tough as it is when you run into roadblocks, when you're negotiating, whether it's with the school district or the park district or anybody, right. What you have to do is take a step back and realize it's really for the residents. You take the personal politics out of it, and it really is for the residents. And it's a credit to city staff and to all the elected officials in Elmhurst.
Well, and the big projects are pretty easy to find and spot, but then there's these smaller neighborhood areas where there's been the acquisition of a house or 2 or 3 or 4 houses that, in an epicenter of flooding for a neighborhood, that you've been able to acquire and turn into these mini retention areas.
Yeah, so when we got started about 6-8 years ago, what we did is we picked the biggest projects that did the most good for the least amount of money. And Alderman Jim Kennedy, chairman of the Public Works Department, will tell you that. We hit the big ones first that would do the most, but there were certain areas of town that didn't have green space around it. And those were tougher to deal with. And we recently acquired some property over on Swain, and it's really turned out well for us. You buy one piece of property, it doesn't do much for you. But when you buy 2, 3, 4 pieces of property, it's a tough thing to do. But when it falls together, it actually can be a good thing. And we've learned a lot in our infrastructure and our capital projects. So we have a couple of those coming online this year. And it's been a real learning experience. It's been difficult. Certainly the residents of Elmhurst have pitched in because we have to pay for this.
Can't say enough about the job that Jim Kennedy and his group
he's
have
doing
done
a wonderful
during this
job.
whole process.
Anybody who wants to buy Jim Kennedy a beer, he's down at Silverado right now.
One of the other things, economic development's been booming in this community for a number of years, especially in comparison to our partners and neighbors throughout DuPage County. We already noted a handful of new businesses that are marching in the parade today. The numbers have been good on economic development.
Numbers are great. I did make a mistake, John. I identified a business in Elmhurst incorrectly this morning at the college breakfast. It's a Throw Nation that we have up on Grand, where you can actually drink beer and throw axes. I can't think of a better combination. But the other thing that we do is with the changing retail structure, 15, 20 years ago, the amount of stuff that was purchased online was maybe 5% total. Now it's over 60%. So we had to figure out what we were going to do to keep our downtown relevant. We've made it a destination not only with entertainment, but also with restaurants. In addition, we've added a lot of density, a lot of what we call transit-oriented development. So we've got some apartments and condos. In fact, in the last 3 years, we have 5 condominiums or apartment complexes, and it's really paid off very well. We've got a lot of seniors in town who didn't want to maintain their homes anymore, but wanted to stay in town. And then we've got what I call our farm system. We've got the young married couples who don't have any kids yet, but they want to come into town as well. So that transit-oriented development has worked out very well for us. In terms of renting and selling, they're ahead of schedule. And it really keeps a vibrant downtown.
Yeah, they come in and they're in the apartments for a while, and then they transition into a home, and it works out.
Absolutely.
Works out very well.
And not only that, the what I'll call the mom and pop shops in town, the boutiques, they benefit from that density. You know, you want to keep it downtown, but you want to keep it vibrant, and you want to make sure that the businesses come in town are viable. And that's what that does. It's a nice symbiotic relationship.
Well, and then the epicenter would be the new train station, which is still a few years down the road, but unbelievable opportunity coming up there.
Yeah, so we are the busiest stop on the Chicago Northwestern line, the Metro line that runs through Elmhurst. And we have not really done a significant remodel of that train station since the 60s. And we're in line now. We're in phase 2 of engineering. And it's quite a complicated process. It involves the railroads. It involves federal agencies. But when it's all said and done in about 3 years, we will have spent about $25 million. The good news is that city staff and along with our local elected officials, Deanne Mazzocchi has been very instrumental in this. We have procured grants of over $20 million. So you take a $25 million project, and over $20 million we've already got paid for, and it's not coming out of the Elmhurst taxpayer pocket. So we're very happy about that.
Love to see that kind of stuff happen. And that project is hopefully going to start in 2022 and be completed in 2024?
Ish.
That's the
Ish.
ish. I would go with the ish. I
the ish.
appreciate Ken bailing
Yeah.
me out there. We'll probably break ground in theory toward the end of 2021.
Okay.
Do the serious work in 2022, and then we have to do it in phases because we're a commuter town, and it's
gotta operate.
very active. So we have phases where we're going to work on the east end and then the west side, if you will, of where folks are picked up. But yeah, it's going to take a little bit of time, and quite frankly, anytime the federal government is involved, the regulations are over the top. The cost per square foot to build a train station exceeds $800 a square foot. Ask any home builder
That's
in town.
an astounding
That
number.
is an astounding number, but we've got a lot of agencies we have to deal with, a lot of regulations we have to meet. We're happy to do it, don't get me wrong. But we also think it's going to be a nice showcase for a lot of people going through town. It's going to showcase Elmhurst very well.
Aside from being the busiest line on the Metro West, it's also the 7th busiest stop in all of Metro's
Absolutely,
locations.
in all of Chicago. So
Yeah.
that's a big deal, and they recognize it. They're giving us help, and a lot of agencies are giving us help. Springfield passed the Springfield passed the capital project just last session, and that's helping us. So we're seeing some of that. Like I said, our local representatives, Deanne Mazzocchi, I know Senator Glowiak also helped in that. So that really does help.
Medina Highlanders sliding by here.
And by the way, we've let all the Medina stuff go by while we're talking to the mayor, because you can just see that stuff and enjoy it. Antioch Brass Quintet also spoke.
There's like 12 different Medina
I was going to say, there's been like 4 of them or 6 of them that went by since I've been sitting here.
Yeah. You're a perfect talkover for the Medinas.
Thanks, John. I do what I can.
Oh, sure. But we appreciate all your support. The fact that there's a council and staff that understands the importance of economic development in a landlocked community. It's really economic redevelopment as opposed to development.
Right.
And ultimately, it's good for the property taxpayers.
Well, and I said earlier to a media representative before the parade started that he had gone to City Center downtown because that's where he thought the parade would be.
Okay.
And then he said, this is just like another downtown over here on Spring Road. So.
Oh, you have York and Villette. By the way, they have their farmers market coming up for the summer. You've got Spring Road. You've got City Center, which we've already noted is connected by the Explore Elmhurst trolley during the summer.
Well, it's just another example of the economic diversity inside of the boundaries of Elmhurst.
The other thing that, and I would say my wife is a good litmus test on this. When I got involved in politics probably about 13 years ago, she said, I never realized how much hard work went into running a town. And really, it's about economic development. And we have a strategic plan. So if something's happening in town, whether it's a building or a new street or however you want to put it, it didn't just happen.
No.
Typically, you're talking 3, 4, 5 years down the road. It was planned a while ago. And when it comes to urban development, stuff that I was working on as an alderman with Tom Marcucci, when Tom Marcucci is the mayor, is still happening today. So it just takes a little bit of time. But I was meeting with Congressman Quigley about 4 or 5 years ago, and we talked about getting a new train station. And he said, "What's your plan, Mayor?" I said, "Don't worry about it, Congressman. I have it all up here." And I pointed to my head. And he kind of chuckled, and he said, "That's great, but you need a plan. And without a plan, you don't get it done." So it really is. It's a testament to the elected officials who work every day at it. It's to staff who works every day at it. And like I said, without a plan, and we have plan upon plan. We have comprehensive plan, and that comprehensive plan, if you're ever looking, if you're ever worried about getting to sleep, pull that thing out and start reading it. It's a couple, 300, 400 pages. But it really is. Every segment of Elmhurst, every portion of Elmhurst, we have a plan and an idea. It doesn't mean that the market can't push it certain ways, but we've thought about it. So, and it's wonderful to see when it actually comes to fruition.
Well, and it, as you said, it's comprehensive, so that would mean it obviously covers everything. But so many people in Elmhurst still don't recognize the strong viability and natural strength that comes from the business parks on both ends of town as well, and that's a part of Elmhurst too.
Yeah, and not only that, we're taking a close look right now in DP&Z. We're taking a close look at our business parks and seeing how else can we market those business parks, but not only how can we market them, what are business parks going to look like 10, 15, 20 years in the future? And the reason why I say we're looking at it right now, the vacancy rate in our business parks is below 2%. So most people would say that's pretty good. That's pretty darn good, right? However, that doesn't mean that there's not a changing marketplace out there, and we're constantly looking at that, and we're fortunate that we have the resources to look at that and plan for the future.
Exactly.
Just as you're talking, Trinity Irish dancers coming by. Our parade grand marshal is Larry Roesch, Family
Roesch,
Auto Group.
Absolutely.
Car dealerships are huge in this community.
Yeah, we have a what we call kind of a car mall at the north end of Elmhurst. Best way I explain it is we get 1% of every car they sell. So they sell a $40,000 car, the city gets $400, and that's a pretty big deal. So we encourage that. We've worked with not only Roesch, we've worked with Sheely, we've worked with a couple of folks up there to make sure they stay in town, make sure they're getting the resources and the support they need from the city. But on the flip side is they're going gangbusters. Not only is the new car sales going well, but there's also a whole resale car market that has been tapped into recently that's doing fantastic.
Well, thank you. We appreciate you spending the time with us.
Gentlemen, I appreciate all the work you put in. This is one of my favorite days in Elmhurst, and they're giving me the hook.
Yeah.
So I couldn't, I'm happy to do, I almost said the wrong thing. Gentlemen, you're doing a great job, and I see there's someone lurking over my shoulder here. I'm going to let you guys go.
Thank you, and your next drink's on me. So what we're going to do is we're going to bring in a former mayor, but also our representative on the DuPage County board, Pete
DeCiani?
DeCiani.
Who's that guy?
What's? Don't you have an Irish version of that for today?
It's Peter Shannon DeCiani.
It's Peter Shannon DeCiani.
Okay.
Got to
There you
celebrate
go.
my grandfather.
There you go.
Came over from
Exactly right.
Mayo, Ireland, and made 6 of his own and a lot of grandkids.
The Chicago Dogs are walking by with their mascot.
Yep.
Nice.
Yep.
So it's great to be out here. It's great. I mean, we had a beautiful day. The people are just so happy
Well, you
to be a part of
got to
it.
walk the whole parade route, so
Yeah.
you've seen the crowds. I
Absolutely.
mean, we see this, which is astonishing up in
It's
here.
packed and all the way down Spring Road. It's remarkable, and it's always great to be here in Elmhurst and celebrating my hometown and seeing all the people, families, kids, old, young. We've got everybody out here today. So I also have a special guest that I brought with me. Is an Elmhurst College alum. We had a great breakfast at the President's Breakfast this morning, but Rick Veenstra, who's one of our former DuPage County prosecutors.
Yeah, he went by. His group went by.
Yeah.
Obviously earlier in the parade.
He's running for judge. I was going to have him, if it's okay.
Well, just grab that,
Yeah,
Mike.
yeah. Oh, here we go. Come
And
on,
Rick, slide in over his shoulder here.
There you go.
As a fellow Elmhurst College alum,
Absolutely. Happy St. Patrick's Day.
glad to see you could make it out here today.
Thank you very much. What a great parade. What a beautiful day.
Absolutely. It's a great day in Elmhurst.
Absolutely. You couldn't ask for better weather, couldn't ask for better crowds, and just an amazing community.
Yeah, it's really nice. We had Dan Cronin on already. We had Deanne Mazzocchi on, obviously the mayor on. It's nice to see all these Elmhurst connections that are out there doing great public service.
And it's all about families. I mean, just the families lining the street. It's really, really fantastic to see. So
I got to toot Rick's horn. He's an Elmhurst College alum. He's a local young man that's done well. He's a criminal prosecutor for DuPage County. Did a great job in our gang unit and put some bad people away. And now he's running for judge, which is one of the top law enforcement positions we offer in our county. So I'm out here helping him out. He's a great guy, and I know he will do great things for Elmhurst.
Have a group in the St. Patrick's
That's
Day
right.
Parade. There are.
We have Elmhurst youth baseball walking by us right now.
That's actually Bree's hockey coach over at the Y.
And softball.
Yeah. Exactly. So, I mean, Elmhurst, you can't beat hockey, baseball, softball, basketball. I mean, every team is out here today.
Absolutely.
Oh, yeah, there's no shortage of athletic opportunities.
And Special Olympics, I mean, we got York going down state this year in Special Olympics, so we're going to be in Bloomington Normal next weekend. So Bree's playing in that game with the Kelties and the whole crew from York. So it's a great time to celebrate Elmhurst.
Terrific. So, Pete, Rick, thank you for stopping by.
Thank you very much, guys.
Really appreciate it.
Thanks.
Enjoy the rest of the parade.
You too.
Take care.
And you can see it's still a mass of humanity down there, Ken.
Sure is.
Oh, what are they handing out? What are they handing out? Hey, over here. Oh, man, over here, guys, over here. Don't forget your TV. TV. Get your TV guy here.
Do you really need a water bottle, John?
Man. Hopefully the art museum will have something. Maybe they'll give me
Art Museum, another one of those terrific cultural amenities of the town, nestled inside Wilder Park, which is a jewel in itself. So the Art Museum well represented today here in the parade.
They have this 18-hole exhibit coming up.
Yep.
That is going to be very popular. If you haven't been to the Art Museum, go by. It is really an amazing place.
The Art Museum and the History Museum, it just speaks, they just speak to the history and tradition and culture of Elmhurst, Illinois.
And all the Art Museum people are wearing their little golf hats.
Oh, yeah, sure enough.
We got J-Dog junk removal coming up. I'll be fine if they don't pass anything out.
Yeah, I suspect so.
But it's veteran operated. And Ken, we're going to go ahead and take a break here, and we'll be back with the Elmhurst St. Patrick's Day Parade on Elmhurst Now. We got some more music coming up, Ken. Total Home Services.
Total Home Services, and well, Probably can't see this very well on television, but basically it's a glass enclosed van with a combination of mannequins and real people. Well, at least I think that guy's a real person.
And they're handing out totes.
Elmhurst Team Soccer. Team Elmhurst Soccer. Should be a pretty good collection of folks, too, I would think. As you said earlier, John, it's this with the parade having good weather, the groups themselves, each entry is larger. And there's like 50 or well in excess of 50 folks with almost every organization here.
There we go. I just scammed some Tootsie Rolls from Elmhurst Team Soccer. Thank you.
What is this on the back of this? It's a soccer dog. Is that what it is? Yep, a soccer dog. He's out of candy.
Should I throw him some Tootsie Rolls?
No.
They're handing out bubble gum and another big soccer ball.
Here's LW Real Estate. It's a great day to be Irish in Elmhurst, that's for sure. No question about it.
And no matter what your nationality, you can be Irish today.
Oh, yeah. And even if you decide you don't want to be Irish today, it's a great excuse to celebrate anyway. So. Here's the mini locomotive charging through here. And it's packed. Like every train in Elmhurst, it's full. The nice thing about this train is, though, it never stops on the tracks.
No, you don't have to wait for the gates.
No, you don't have to. It goes on by and Concrete Doctors, another business here in town.
Throwing out some mini balls.
Well, if you've got a business and you've got a convertible and you
he got it up to the top of the Comcast truck.
Yeah, throwing candy up to the top of the truck.
Sign that guy up.
With any luck at all. He's good job. This guy's up on top of the truck. They need nourishment too. Can't just all go to.
Well, I don't think they're going to eat the ball.
Oh, yeah.
All right, let's see if I can get a ball thrown here.
Nope, I don't think he's.
No, you're not like, hey, over here for the TV crew. No? Throw a ball to the TV crew. Wow, they're killing me.
Yeah.
Apparently, I can only get candy.
Well, they obviously don't know your skill set.
And you got Spenga right down here.
Yep, Spenga right
on
down
Spring
here
Road.
On Spring Road. Spin, strength, and yoga.
Got another musical entry coming up.
School of Rock. Right on First Street in Elmhurst at Maple Street. School of Rock.
They're actually in the old chamber office.
They are. They're in the old chamber office. Several chamber offices ago, but There's another shot for you, John. Where's
Wow.
the parade?
I'm telling you, Ken. I think the guy who reported that these are record crowds, I think it's record participation in the parade
Yeah,
and record crowds.
yeah.
I mean, we've seen some heavy attendance.
That's just another regular day here on Spring Road. You know, foot traffic is a little higher than normal.
A little, just a tad higher. I can only imagine what it's like for somebody who is unaware and they come jogging down
Yeah,
the prairie path, and then all of a sudden it's like, what?
yeah.
I got Mondo Builders. They're sponsoring the Chiefs.
Come the Medina flying carpets. I think if I was going to drive a Medina thing, I think this would be the one.
You want a magic carpet ride?
I think this would
You
put a little
don't know.
Steppenwolf down
Well,
and
yep.
and
Thank
go.
you.
Yeah.
Feel free to iTunes that if you
If you don't know what we're talking
Yeah.
about, yeah, right. One of the several color guards, Chilel Grotto. Chicago, Illinois.
For them, it's wearing of the fez.
That's right. And they're probably getting ready. They're probably getting ready to have the next parade in their history as well.
Elmhurst Lodge, 941. And I think in general, we've had far more motorized vehicles of some
I
form
think
or
so.
fashion.
I think so.
Happy St. Patrick's Day!
Since I see a queen coming up, I do need to go back to the Elmhurst Armpit Orchestra. They name a queen every year, and this year it was Vicki Ferguson of Elmhurst College, the EAO queen.
Have Elmhurst Toyota coming by.
Advanced orthodontic specialists coming through. I don't see any of them limping, so doing a good job.
And we have a bicycle built for two.
And occasionally there are going to be gaps in the parade that have motorized vehicles followed by marching vehicles or marchers. And you see, one of those little gaps in there, but not a big problem. Certainly not for anyone here visiting the St. Patrick's Day Parade. And of course, this parade obviously draws Elmhurst, but it draws well beyond Elmhurst. And on a beautiful day, who knows where all these folks decided to come from.
And they're welcome to stay in town all afternoon and evening.
And some of them will. Some of them will. So. And there are any number of organizations and parties and whatnot all that take place when the parade ends here on Spring Road and elsewhere in Elmhurst. And just be safe and know your limits, but have a good time too.
Just had do care. You do care if you're a pet owner like me. it's important to pick up after your pup, especially if they're that big. And we've talked about the huge vehicles we've had in this parade more than ever again. They can barely get down the street, as you can see. Police at the intersection trying to make sure the truck gets through safely.
This is Candace Adams that has this truck. She's also a candidate for clerk of the circuit court.
We have had no shortage of candidates for office in this parade. And again, my reminder, make sure you vote.
Yeah, Illinois primary coming right up, and then of course the general election in November. Here's the Medina crew on the
mopeds are kind of cheating to march in a parade. All you do is kind of, like lean forward a little bit, and that's it.
I guess, but those folks, there's a balancing act to those things.
Yeah,
when you're not moving at all.
The motorcycle guys were going in and out. The guys on the carts were going in and out. Now, if I had to march in a parade, here's how I'd like to march in a parade.
Yeah.
Horseback.
Those are all Irish horses too, John.
Well, we got some 16-hand tall horses in there.
Oh gosh, yeah, you bet. Not this one here, but.
Well, that's 16 hands going from head to tail, not from hoof to back.
We've had dogs in the parade
bigger than that. We have.
Yeah, the ponies come by after the horses.
And I'll bet every kid's turning to mom and dad.
Yeah.
Can I get one of those?
Well, there's a shot right there. The little
Yeah.
girl getting introduced to a pony. Maybe never been that close before. You never know.
Love to know what they're thinking.
Yeah. I was just. It's absolutely what I was thinking too. What is going on today? And that's all part of the trail riders of DuPage. Chicago Wildfire, John. Now, for folks who don't know, what is that?
That is professional Frisbee, played on typically a soccer or football field. I got to throw out a first Frisbee at their game at Elmhurst College's Langhorse Field last year.
How'd you do?
I did okay. I had to throw in the wind, though. I wanted to throw with the wind.
That's tough.
That's not the way the referee set it up.
Yeah. My Frisbee throwing is a lot like my boomerang throwing.
Let me tell you, you watch the way these guys play on the field.
Oh, yeah.
It is stunning how good they are and how much talent it takes. And they'll be back at Elmhurst College this summer. They play teams from all around the country. And I actually have a ceremonial Frisbee in my office on display.
Well, we actually have kind of a traffic jam here.
They're handing out Frisbees, too.
Oh, my.
What do you think? Are they good enough to get it over our cameraman? Is he good enough to get it over the cameraman? I've already thrown out a first Frisbee at a game. Here we go. I got mine. There we go, right here.
Yep.
And I'm going to give this to Ken since I already have one. So there you go.
And I will accept it gladly. April 25th, we're told, is the opening game at Elmhurst College.
Are they tossing one up to our cameraman? Are they going to get one up to you?
I don't know. He's
they're
asking.
They're looking at it.
Begging.
Well,
here we go.
We got incoming behind us, too.
All right. Foink. Oh, yeah, that worked. That worked really well. That's close. That was close. Don't quit your day job.
I hope cameraman isn't his day job.
Never know. Delivery first.
And right now they're delivering water bottles.
Water bottles. That's a nice little. That's a nice little handout.
There you go.
It is. It really is. Well, as parades go, John, we've collected a lot of stuff today.
I know. And there still were a lot of things we didn't collect.
Well, it's true. Jim's Handyman Services.
This is Elm Tree Lane.
Yeah.
It's a residential entry into the parade.
Sure enough. That's great. Flatbed truck all decked out.
So see, you don't even have to technically be part of an organization to be in the parade.
Well, put together an entry and join on in.
Get people on your block to get in. And our first student bus service, well known around Elmhurst.
Well, before trolleys, we used to see a lot more buses.
Yes. Another political candidate. Several coming up now.
Jill Adi, Azam Zunamunan.
And endorsed by a group of Schultes. Elmhurst Citizens Climate Lobby.
Elmhurst Rugby. You ever play rugby, John?
No, that's a tough sport.
Oh, gosh, yeah. It's a tough sport.
Get that on camera?
Interesting sport to watch.
Any sport that has scrum as a key point of its lingo said to me, you don't want to be part of the scrum.
Good sport. There are people who love it. So the Elmhurst Rugby Club.
Well, there was a time where, while it was hugely popular in Europe, people never thought it would catch on in America.
Here is the Sky Zone in Elmhurst. Another entertainment venue.
Trampoline park. It's amazing to be there. When we did a ribbon cutting for them at the chamber, some of us went out and bounced around a little.
Yeah. It's the Wandering Shamrocks Harmonica Band. I believe it's our last musical unit here in the parade. As the parade on Spring Road is coming to an end.
I know that song from the Quiet Man.
To walk and play harmonica, that isn't the easiest thing either.
I think we need to have the harmonicas go off against the kazoos in a one-on-one competition.
Orange Theory, downtown in the Schiller Walkway. Group walking with Kilwins. 5 years they've been in Elmhurst already. That's amazing.
And I sure hope they're handing out stuff.
Well, that I don't know, John. I don't see any evidence of that, but
It doesn't have to be ice cream. It could be a really nice chocolate bar.
True. Nonetheless, we're glad they're in Elmhurst. And it does appear, John.
Well, they're handing out something, but I don't know what.
Something. You're right.
They missed us.
This would be the
And this is waxing the city in the sports car.
Right, waxing the city just came down. They are on York Road, just south of the City Hall building. This would be the Medina Fire Brigade, their fire unit, and the miniature fire vehicle, fire engine, sort of, more or less.
Happy St. Patrick's Day.
And Ken, as we're nearing the end of our parade, it's really been an amazing day at Elmhurst. The crowds, now that they're starting to dissipate a little, but what a full house it was today.
Well, as I said on several occasions, the shots we were seeing, it was impossible to differentiate the difference between the people in the parade and the people watching the parade. It sort of all melded together at several different points in time, which just indicates what we were told about the size of the crowds at this year's the 24th annual parade. Inland Bank just went by, and here is Great American Exteriors, long-standing part of this parade.
And a member here of the Spring Road Business Association.
And we're seeing right at the tail end of the parade here, in fact, at the end of the parade, John, we've got members of the parade organizers and parade staff. These are the folks that made things go as smoothly as they did. There's literally hundreds of these folks that volunteer their time for this parade. And our last is Republic services, which is fitting. This is the cleanup crew, if you will, for the parade, and there's some stuff for them to do, and we're glad they're here to do it.
Well, Ken, thanks for having me along.
Well, you were doing this before I joined you, but nonetheless, it's been a great parade here in Elmhurst, the 24th annual. We've mentioned if it's 24 this year, next year it must be 25. So the silver anniversary of the Elmhurst St. Patrick's Day Parade next year, they'll pull out all the stops. This will be hard to top, though, this day and these crowds. So, John, thanks for joining me. This has been the Elmhurst St. Patrick's Day Parade, the 24th annual, here on Spring Road on Elmhurst Now. And we'll see you again.
I count, you count,
everyone counts
Elmhurst. The city of Elmhurst is home to over 45,000 residents.
The U.S. Constitution mandates that everyone in the country be counted every 10 years. The United States counts everyone living in the country on April 1st, regardless of their nationality or living situation.
Completing the census is mandatory. It's a way to participate in our democracy and say, I count. Taking part is your civic duty.
The census is about fair representation at the federal level. Every 10 years, the results of the census are used to determine how many seats each state gets in the House of Representatives.
After each decade's census, congressional, state, and local legislative district boundaries are redrawn to account for population shifts, including Elmhurst ward boundaries.
The census is a snapshot in time. It aims to count the entire population of our country and the location each person usually lives. The census asks questions of people in homes and group living situations, including how many people live or stay in each home, as well as the sex, age, and race of each person. The goal is to count everyone once, only once, and in the right place.
When you respond to the census, you help Elmhurst get its fair share of the more than $675 billion per year in federal funds spent on schools, hospitals, roads, public works, and other vital programs. Federal funds, grants, and support to states, counties, and communities are based on population totals and breakdowns by sex, age, race, and other factors. The community benefits most when the census counts everyone.
The census is a valuable tool for improving communities across the country. Funds distributed from the census equate to approximately $6 million annually for the city of Elmhurst. That allocation provides funding for local projects such as road resurfacing and supports community initiatives from public safety preparedness to quality of life and economic development growth. If members of the community don't respond to the census, Elmhurst may not receive the funding it deserves.
Your census responses are safe and secure. The Census Bureau is required by law to protect any personal information collected and keep it strictly confidential. Your answers may only be used to produce statistics. They cannot be used for law enforcement purposes or to determine your personal eligibility for government benefits. To be clear, there will not be a citizenship question and respondents will not be required to submit their Social Security number.
2020 will introduce the first modern census, the first to be available online. The days of the old-fashioned, long-form census are over. Because getting an accurate count is so important, the process is designed to be fast and easy. On average, it takes no more than 10 minutes to answer the questions on the census.
Beginning in March 2020, when it's time to respond, households will receive an invitation in the mail from the U.S. Census Bureau. Every household will have the option of responding online, by mail, or by phone. Households that don't respond in one of these ways will be visited by a census taker to collect the information in person. In the 2010 census, only 86% of Elmhurst households responded. You can help create a better future for Elmhurst by responding to the 2020 census. Providing an up-to-date and accurate count of our population is critical.
With an accurate snapshot of the Elmhurst community, the Park District is able to plan, budget, and develop new parks and programs that will be beneficial to the Elmhurst community.
An estimated 5% of children under the age of 5 weren't counted in the 2010 census. Census results help us understand how demographics, including income, education levels, and population size, are changing in Elmhurst. Having an accurate picture of all residents, including children 5 and younger, allows District 205 to engage in long-term planning to meet the needs of current and future students.
The Elmhurst Public Library, Elmhurst School District 205, the Elmhurst Park District, and City of Elmhurst are committed partners in making sure all of Elmhurst is counted accurately in the 2020 census.
Each week leading up to the census deadline, you can learn more about your fellow Elmhurst residents who are likewise committed to being counted in 2020. Join us in being counted.
Remember, the census counts all people living or staying at an address, not just the person or family who owns or rents the property. So be sure to include your entire household.
To learn more about the U.S. Census, local programming, and where to find assistance in responding to Census 2020, please visit the city's website, elmhurst.org/census2020.